The accusation that changed everything. Finesse2Tymes walked out of jail within hours, turned a legal nightmare into one of the most explosive rap stories of the year. He did not return to social media with a calm explanation. Instead, he pointed directly at Moneybagg Yo and claimed that the man he once called a brother had helped put the police on him. That allegation has not been proven, and Moneybagg Yo had not publicly answered it in the source material, but the timing made it hit harder. Finesse had just been arrested in East Texas on multiple drug-related charges, while his girlfriend, FNG Sugar, reportedly remained behind bars with a bond exceeding $500,000. One person was free, the other was still locked up. Finesse appeared to be carrying anger, fear, and desperation at once. Then the story took a darker turn. In another post, Finesse referenced paperwork and accused people close to Moneybagg of cooperating with law enforcement. In hip-hop culture, that kind of claim can destroy trust and damage a reputation instantly. But without verified documents presented publicly, it remains an accusation, not a confirmed fact. Another fire was already burning. Days earlier, footage had circulated of Finesse calling Moneybagg out over comments, allegedly involving his children. Suddenly, the conflict had three layers: family, legal trouble, and broken loyalty. What looked like another Instagram outburst was becoming a second collapse between two Memphis artists who had already gone from brothers to enemies, then somehow found their way back. Was this relationship ever truly repaired? Or were years of resentment waiting for the right moment to explode? Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments. Press 1 if you believe this is about betrayal, or press 2 if you think emotions are driving the accusations. Subscribe now, because the history behind this conflict changes everything. Freedom for one, jail for another. Finesse2Tymes may have walked out of custody, but the crisis surrounding him was far from over. While he was able to return to social media and speak directly to his audience, his girlfriend, FNG Sugar, reportedly remained behind bars with a bond of more than $500,000. That detail changed the emotional temperature of everything he posted. This was not simply a rapper celebrating his release or defending his name. This was a man looking at freedom while someone close to him was still trapped inside the same legal storm. His post revealed two emotions operating at the same time. One was anger aimed at Moneybagg Yo and anyone Finesse believed had worked against him. The other was pain over Sugar's situation. He publicly admitted that he felt sick without her and suggested that few people understood him the way she did. Those words added vulnerability to a story that had otherwise been dominated by accusations and confrontation. That combination matters. Fear can make suspicion feel like certainty. Pressure can turn an old disagreement into proof of betrayal in someone's mind. But emotion alone does not establish what actually happened. Finesse's allegation that Moneybagg played a role in his arrest remained unverified in the material available, and no publicly confirmed evidence was presented to prove it. Still, the audience could understand why the moment felt explosive to him. He had been arrested repeatedly during the previous year. His girlfriend was facing serious charges. His business relationships appeared unstable, and the man he once trusted as a friend and label partner had become the person he publicly blamed. The tragedy was that Finesse did not seem to be fighting one battle. He was fighting the legal system, his contract situation, old resentment, and the fear of losing someone close to him at the same time. Every frustration was beginning to merge into one story of betrayal. But the conflict did not begin with the arrest. Before the police accusation appeared, another video had already pushed the situation toward a dangerous emotional edge, and this time, the argument involved his children, respect, and a public challenge. Before Finesse2Tymes accused Moneybagg Yo of helping bring police attention to him. Footage was already circulating in which he addressed Moneybagg directly. According to the source material, Finesse believed comments had been made involving his children, and that crossed a line he was not willing to ignore. In rap, artists trade insults constantly. Careers are built around competition, confidence, and public challenges. But family changes the meaning of the conflict. Once children enter the conversation, what might have remained a business disagreement or lyrical rivalry can become deeply personal. For Finesse, the issue appeared to move beyond music. He was responding as a father who believed his family had been disrespected. The footage reportedly showed him looking into the camera and challenging Moneybagg to face him. That direct delivery made the clip more powerful than a typed Instagram story. Viewers were not reading words written in the heat of the moment. They were watching his expression, hearing his tone, and seeing how personally he had taken the situation. However, the most important question was not who could win a confrontation. The real question was how two men with years of shared history had reached a point where public conflict seemed easier than private conversation. The arrest accusation landed while that first video was still spreading. One clip centered on his children. Another post involved police and alleged paperwork. Together, they created the impression of a relationship collapsing on every level at once. That is why the story spread so quickly. It was not one isolated comment. It was a sequence of emotional explosion. Family, reputation, freedom, loyalty, and business were all becoming part of the same public argument. Yet encouraging a physical confrontation would only increase the risk for everyone involved. Both artists had careers, families, employees, and communities connected to their decisions. A moment of anger could create consequences lasting far longer than the original insult. To understand why Finesse appeared to take Moneybagg's actions so personally, the timeline had to move backward before the fame, before the contracts, and before either artist had enough success for betrayal to carry a financial price. Before the fame, they were brothers. Long before Finesse, 2Tymes and Moneybagg Yo became recognizable names in Southern rap. They were young Memphis artists trying to create opportunities in the same city. They came from the same musical environment, moved through overlapping circles, and were connected to a generation of rappers determined to make Memphis impossible for the industry to ignore. The source material describes them as members of a larger collective that included other Memphis artists. At that stage, there were no major label expectations separating them. There were no public contract disputes, chart position, or accusations about career sabotage. They were part of the same movement, trying to build attention from the ground up. That history is what gives the current conflict its emotional weight. An insult from a stranger can be dismissed. An accusation from someone who remembers your earliest struggle can feel like an attack on your entire story. They knew each other before success changed the balance of power. They saw the uncertain years, the local performances, and the pressure of trying to survive in an industry where talent alone does not guarantee a future. That kind of shared history often creates a bond that feels closer to family than business. But it can also create competition. When two people begin in a similar place and one career rises faster, old memories can become complicated. Success can produce pride, but it can also create distance. The person who once stood beside you may eventually control access, money, and opportunities you still need. The relationship between Finesse and Moneybagg would eventually move through nearly every possible stage: friendship, rivalry, separation, réconciliation, and partnership. Each transformation added another layer of unresolved emotion. The current allegations are therefore not simply about what happened during one arrest. They are connected to years of memories about who helped whom, who stayed loyal, who achieved success first, and who may have felt forgotten. Their early brotherhood built the foundation, but by 2017, that foundation had cracked completely. The men who once worked toward the same goal began directing their energy against each other. And the conflict moved from private frustration into public music and social media. The First War and 5 Lost Years. W 2017, the relationship between Finesse2Tymes and Moneybagg Yo had changed from cooperation to open hostility. The conflict reportedly included public statements, direct accusations, and diss records. These were not vague lyrics that fans had to decode. The tension was personal enough that both names became permanently connected to the rivalry. Then Finesse's life changed in a way no rap feud could match. He went to federal prison on a weapons-related case and spent approximately 5 years away. That sentence divided the story into 2 different realities. Inside, Finesse lost years that could have been used to tour, release music, build relationships, and adapt to a rapidly changing industry. Outside, Moneybagg continued working. He released major projects expanded his audience, and developed the business structure surrounding Bread Gang. While one artist was forced to pause, the other gained momentum. That contrast does not automatically prove resentment, but it helps explain the emotional complexity of what came later. Finesse returned to a music industry that had transformed. Streaming had become even more powerful. Social media moved faster. New artists had emerged, and Moneybagg was no longer simply another rapper from the old circle. He had become an established artist with influence, resources, and a label operation. 5 years can change how people remember a disagreement. Time can soften anger, but it can also deepen the feeling that life moved forward without you. Finesse had to rebuild his career while confronting the reality that someone from his past had reached a position he might once have imagined for himself. Yet his return did not immediately produce another war. According to the source material, he showed signs of maturity, spoke to young people in detention facilities, and publicly acknowledged that he had made mistakes. That accountability opened the door to something few fans expected. The two former rivals began moving toward peace. Finesse admitted that he had been wrong, and Moneybagg appeared willing to support his comeback. For a moment, their story looked like proof that time, responsibility, and shared history could overcome even a bitter feud. But peace became more complicated when friendship turned into a label relationship, the reunion nobody expected. When Finesse2Tymes returned to the rap world, one of the most surprising developments was his reconciliation with Moneybagg Yo. Instead of continuing the old conflict, Finesse publicly accepted responsibility for his role in it. During a podcast appearance referenced in the source material, he admitted that time had shown him he was wrong. That statement mattered because public accountability is rare in an industry where admitting fault can be interpreted as weakness. Finesse was not simply avoiding the subject, he was acknowledging that his earlier understanding of the situation had changed. The reconciliation soon became more than words. Finesse signed with Bread Gang, the label connected to Moneybagg Yo, as part of a larger business arrangement that also included other industry partners. The former opponent was now helping power his comeback. They also released Black Visa, a collaboration that publicly symbolized the end of the feud. Fans could see them together, hear them on the same record, and believe the old hostility had finally been replaced by maturity. For Finesse, the partnership appeared to create immediate momentum. His song Back End gained viral attention and entered the Billboard Hot 100. After years away, he had returned with a record capable of reaching a national audience. But reconciliation and business are not the same thing. Friendship is built on trust and emotional understanding. A label relationship includes contracts, ownership, expectations, budgets, and control. Once Moneybagg became connected to Finesse's business structure, every creative disappointment could become personal, and every personal disagreement could threaten the business. The power dynamic had changed. They were no longer simply two artists from the same Memphis circle. One had returned from prison needing infrastructure, the other had already built it. That imbalance did not mean the partnership was designed to fail, but it made honest communication essential. If either person still carried unresolved pain from the earlier feud, business pressure could reopen wounds they had only covered rather than healed. The reunion looked complete from the outside. Behind the scenes, however, Finesse would later speak as though something important had already disappeared. He did not only miss making music with Moneybagg, he said he missed the friendship itself. Success, pressure, and cracks in the deal. The early stage of Finesse2Tymes' comeback showed why the partnership appeared promising. Back End became a viral success and reached the Billboard Hot 100, proving that he could still connect with a large audience after years away. But one successful song does not remove the pressure surrounding an artist. The source material states that his later album did not achieve the same chart impact in a label environment. That difference can create difficult conversations about marketing, investment, strategy, and responsibility. At the same time, Finesse was beginning to speak publicly about the distance between himself and Moneybagg Yo. During a live stream, he reportedly admitted that he missed their friendship and wanted to work with him again. He also promised that, regardless of frustration, he would not repeat the behavior that had damaged their relationship in the past. Those comments now sound painfully important. They suggest that the partnership had weakened before the latest public accusations. Finesse was not describing an active brotherhood. He was describing something he wanted back. The business structure around him also became a source of distrust. He later claimed that he had discovered troubling details about a 360 style agreement. After reviewing his paperwork with an artificial intelligence tool, the source material does not provide the full contract. So, the exact terms cannot be independently judged from the transcript alone. Still, the claim showed that Finesse felt uncertain about how his business was being managed. When an artist believes he does not fully understand his contract, suspicion can spread quickly. A delayed release may feel like sabotage. A rejected opportunity may feel like control. A friend's silence may feel like disloyalty. This does not prove that anyone acted against him. It reveals the mindset surrounding the breakdown. Finesse appeared to believe that powerful people around him had more control over his future than he did. Once trust disappeared from the business relationship, even old friendship could no longer stabilize it. Then, another alleged opportunity entered the story. One connected to Yo Gotti and Finesse began accusing Moneybagg and Big Boogie of trying to block his next move. Big Boogie, Yo Gotti, and the business battle. The conflict expanded beyond personal resentment when Finesse2Tymes began accusing Big Boogie and Moneybagg Yo of interfering with a potential opportunity involving Yo Gotti. According to the source material, Finesse believed the two artists were working together to prevent him from gaining stronger label support. These claims were serious because they transformed the story from a damaged friendship into an alleged battle over career control. Finesse suggested that the people around him feared what he could accomplish if another powerful organization fully supported his music. He framed himself as an artist, being outnumbered but still confident in his ability. In his public statements, he argued that a real label push could change the competitive balance between them. However, these were Finesse's allegations. The transcript did not provide independent evidence proving that Moneybagg or Big Boogie blocked a deal. That distinction is essential. A public accusation can influence fan opinion immediately, but a business decision often involves contracts, conflicting obligations, existing agreements, and legal restrictions the audience cannot see. Big Boogie reportedly answered publicly, rejecting the way Finesse described the power relationship. His response added another layer of ego and hierarchy. Now, the argument was also about who had authority, who had helped build whom, and which organization held the strongest position in Memphis rap. For Finesse, the alleged deal represented more than a contract. It appeared to symbolize independence. Joining a new camp could allow him to escape the relationships he believed were limiting him. It could also prove that his success did not depend on Bread Gang. That is why the business dispute intensified the emotional conflict. Finesse had once returned from prison and accepted Moneybagg's support. Years later, he appeared to believe that the same circle was standing between him and his next chapter. The situation was becoming increasingly difficult to contain. The argument now involved labels, alliances, contracts, and money. Then it spread into personal relationships, drawing in people who were not originally part of the conflict, including G Herbo, Ari Fletcher, and FNG Suga. When the conflict pulls everyone in, as Finesse2Tymes continued speaking publicly, the conflict stopped being limited to Moneybagg Yo and business disagreements. More names were pulled into the situation, and each new exchange made the original issue harder to separate from the surrounding drama. G Herbo became involved after reportedly reacting with a laughing emoji to a post connected to Finesse. What may have appeared minor to an outsider was interpreted by Finesse as disrespect. He responded publicly and then shifted the conversation toward Ari Fletcher, G Herbo's former partner and Moneybagg Yo's current girlfriend. Finesse compared Ari with FNG Suga in personal terms, turning the dispute into a conversation about appearances, relationships, and status. That escalation revealed how emotionally uncontrolled the situation had become. The argument was no longer focused on evidence, contracts, or the original arrest. It was spilling toward anyone connected to the people Finesse believed had disrespected him. Ari attempted to distance herself from the conflict, According to the source material, her response suggested that she did not want her posts or actions attached to people she considered unrelated to her. That was a reasonable boundary. But by then, the internet had already connected every name. Social media rewards conflict because each reaction becomes new content. A reply creates another headline. A live stream creates another clip. A vague post becomes material for speculation. The human cost can disappear beneath that cycle. Partners become targets. Children become topics. Private pain becomes entertainment. People who never agreed to participate can find themselves judged by millions of strangers. Finesse's frustration may have been real, but directing it across an expanding group made his central claims harder to evaluate. The more people he attacked, the easier it became for audiences to focus on the chaos rather than the evidence. Meanwhile, Moneybagg Yo remained publicly silent in the reporting used for the original script. That silence prevented a direct exchange. But it also left fans to create their own explanations. The story had reached a dangerous crossroads. It could continue growing through accusations and reactions, or the people involved could move the dispute away from social media before reputations, relationships, and legal situations suffered even greater damage. Betrayal, business, or a brotherhood beyond repair. The conflict between Finesse2Tymes and Moneybagg Yo cannot be explained by one Instagram post. It is the result of years of friendship, rivalry, prison, reconciliation, business pressure, and broken communication. Finesse's accusations about police involvement and alleged paperwork remain claims unless credible evidence confirms them. Moneybagg's public silence, as described in the source material, does not prove guilt or innocence. Silence can be a legal strategy, a refusal to amplify drama, or simply a decision that the accusation does not deserve a response. Strategically, Moneybagg may benefit from avoiding an emotional public exchange. Responding in anger could extend the story and create new risks. But silence also allows fans and blogs to fill the empty space with speculation. Finesse faces a different strategic problem. Publicly naming people may attract attention, but repeated accusations without verified evidence can weaken his position. If he believes a crime, contract violation, or business interference occurred, the strongest path is documentation, legal counsel, and direct professional action, not escalating personal attacks. The larger lesson is about boundaries. Friendship should not replace a clear contract. Artists must understand ownership, revenue splits, release obligations, and exit terms before signing. Legal documents should be reviewed by qualified entertainment attorneys, not only friends, executives, or online tools. There is also a human lesson. Family members and partners should not become weapons in professional disputes. Children should remain outside public conflict. Anger may explain harmful words, but it does not remove responsibility for them. Finesse and Moneybagg have already moved from brotherhood to war and back to partnership once. That history proves reconciliation is possible. But a second repair would require more than a song or public appearance. It would require evidence, accountability, honest communication, and a willingness to protect peace over pride. Where are you watching from? Comment your city or country below. Press 1 if you believe this relationship can still be repaired. Or press 2 if you think the brotherhood is finished. Like this video, share it with another hip-hop fan, and subscribe for more carefully reported stories from the rap world.